Hello Home Slices, it's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting, and I'm coming to you with a pretty serious video about a disorder that I have been dealing with for about half my life now. And I think it's really important for me to talk about this because my original intentions for my YouTube channel was to create a community of young people who can hold each other accountable regarding the things that they want to do with their lives. And one of the things that I want to do is overcome my struggle with trichotillomania. Now, trichotillomania, I'll put the term down here, is also known as just Trich for short, but trichotillomania is defined as the compulsive desire to pull out one's hair. And it's something that I've been struggling with ever since I was probably 13 or 14 years old. So I wanted to make this video to talk about what trichotillomania is, the symptoms of trichotillomania, my own personal struggle with trich, and also the things that I am implementing in my own life to help me overcome this disorder. Now first, we're going to talk about what trichotillomania is. Now, as I stated before, trich is the compulsive desire to pull out one's hair. Now this can occur on any part of the body. Some people pull out the hair on their heads, some people pull out facial hair, underarm hair, hair on their extremities, or pubic hair. And this can happen to anybody of any age. It's said that 1% to 2% of all adults deal with some form of trichotillomania, and that trich typically starts when someone is 9 to 13 years old, and it's usually preceded by some type of stressful life event or a lot of anxiety or boredom. Another thing to note is that trich is chronic and can reoccur if it's not treated properly. And that's something I can definitely identify with. Next up, we'll talk about symptoms. Now, the most obvious symptoms of trich is noticeable hair loss. Now, a symptom that's less noticeable to someone on the outside is experiencing tension when you're about to pull your hair or while you're trying to resist the urge to pull your hair. Another symptom is repeated attempts to stop or reduce pulling your hair. Like I said, trich is chronic, so even if you overcome it for a little while, if you don't handle your recovery properly, you can go right back towards hair pulling. Now, the absolute worst symptom, in my opinion, is the shame, the anxiety, and the feeling of loss of control when you are pulling out your hair. Now, this part is probably the most emotional part, I feel safe saying, for all people who struggle with trichotillomania. Especially for people who pull out hairs that are more noticeable on the body. I mean, if someone were to pull out the hair on their extremities or their pubic hair or their underarm hair, you kind of wouldn't notice. But if someone pulled out their facial hair or the hair on their head, I mean, there's a lot of shame that goes along with hair loss. And so having your disorder on display for people to see can be really embarrassing, and the loss of control is something that, to me, emotionally is kind of out of this world. And it's like, you know, what's wrong with me and why can't I stop? And I think that's probably the worst symptom of having trich, is realizing that you have a problem and it's just this compulsive desire, and you really have to concentrate and create a plan and find the root of the problem in order for you to get over it and overcome it. Now, another symptom of trich that's kind of optional is that when someone pulls out their hairs, sometimes it's accompanied by some type of visual or physical manipulation of the hair that's pulled. For instance, some people will pull out their hair and they examine it or they play with it, and some people even eat their hair, which is another disorder totally. Now, next up, we'll talk about my personal struggle with trichotillomania. Now, I realized that I have talked this whole video just about trichotillomania in general, but now that we're about to get more personal, I am going to tell you the area that I pull hair from, and it is my eyelashes. Now I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see, but I began pulling out my eyelashes when I was about 13 or 14 years old. I remember going on vacation during the summer, and when I came back home, everyone said that I looked different. Now during the summertime I was on the beach and all that type of stuff, so I was under the impression that they saw that I was more tan, but everyone was saying no, it's not that. I think my mom pointed it out that I didn't have any eyelashes, and that's how the disorder kind of begun for me. I will say this: I had very low self-esteem, especially as a teenager, and I don't know, I think that anxiety from having low self-esteem was heightened for whatever reason, and I just started plucking out my eyelashes on that vacation, and ever since then I have not been able to completely stop 100%. Now there have been times where I have grown out a full set of eyelashes, and I love the way that I look with a full set of eyelashes, and eyelashes are one of those things that you don't really appreciate, that you kind of take for granted. I mean, eyelashes obviously serve a purpose. They help to keep debris out of your eyes, so things get in my eyes more easily than they should. You know, I don't have any use for mascara, or I have to go really heavy on the eyeliner for a makeup look to look okay, and I just love the way that I look with eyelashes. And I guess I'll put up a comparison shot for you guys so that you can see the way my face looks with and without eyelashes. To me, without lashes, my face looks more washed out. And like I said, if you don't really pay attention, you probably wouldn't notice that someone doesn't have eyelashes. But the difference in the comparison shot is pretty obvious. Okay guys, I just wanted to zoom in and really show you what's going on with my eyelashes. If you look closely, you can see that my eyelashes on the top eyelid are very short, and here's why. They are growing back in. Now, whenever I tell people that I, pull out my eyelashes, they always seem surprised that eyelashes grow back. Like, it never occurred to them that eyelashes grow back, but they are hair and they do grow back, and I just pull them out whenever they grow back. But I'm at a point where I haven't pulled my eyelashes for maybe like 10 days to a week now, and so I have a lot more eyelashes now than I have had consistently for a really long time. Also, if you notice, I have a full set of eyelashes on the bottom eyelid, and that's because it is painful for me to pull out the bottom ones. I don't know what it is. Like, whenever I pull out the lids on the top eyelid, I feel this sense of like relief, this short sense. Euphoria is too strong a word for it, but it's like this sense of relief that I get when I pull out a lash from the top lid. But when I pull out one from the bottom lid, it just hurts too much. So I have a full set on my bottom lids on both eyes. See if I can get the other one for you guys. As you can see, the little short eyelashes on the top lid here. Some of them are a little longer than others. There we go. Oh, and take a look at my snatched eyebrows. Now, as I stated earlier, one of the worst parts about trichotillomania is the embarrassment. To me, it's embarrassing that I have been dealing with this disorder for 13 years and haven't been able to overcome it. I mean, there's a lot of things in life that I have tried to do that I have managed to overcome, but trichotillomania is something that I have not quite conquered yet. And in addition to the embarrassment of not overcoming this just yet, I mean, there's embarrassment about the way I look without my eyelashes, because I feel like I look much better and more normal with my eyelashes. I wish that I could do certain makeup looks. I wish that I had a use for mascara. I'm tired of getting things in my eyes. The embarrassment that goes along with, you know, even talking about it with somebody who I know won't understand. Like I told you guys earlier, it's estimated that 1 to 2% of adults deal with trichotillomania. And because of that, I mean, it's really easy to feel like you are alone. And that in itself just creates, you know, shame and embarrassment about it. But I'm really to the point now where, because I've been dealing with it for so long, it's not as embarrassing, but I'm just ready to get it over with. Another part of the embarrassment I experienced from trichotillomania was the fact that almost nobody I knew was going through the same thing. As far as people who deal with trichotillomania, because it's kind of a rare compulsive disorder, there's less options for treatment. There are less you know, people that you can talk to about it who have dealt with it. And I ultimately want to say that people who deal with trich are definitely not alone. The 1 to 2% of adults may be a bit of an understatement, because maybe people just don't come forward to talk about it, or don't see it as an actual compulsive disorder and just think, you know, it's just a bad habit. I felt like I was kind of hurt because no one would understand me. And I would say a few years ago, I found out that a good childhood friend of mine dealt with trich. And instead of her eyelashes like me, she would pull out the hair over her temples, and so it made her edges thin. And so to kind of cover that up, she would get short haircuts, like, you know, that were kind of faded on the sides. And I mean, she looked great with the short haircut, but you would never know that she was struggling with trichotillomania. And so, like I said, there's a lot of shame and a lot of people who have to work around this disorder. Now, in my own personal struggle, I do recognize that I have a few triggers. As with any compulsive disorder, I would say the biggest trigger is boredom. I mean, when your hands are idle, you find anything to do. And that's when you start, you know, biting your nails, or for me, pulling out your eyelashes or pulling out hair anywhere on your body. Boredom is like, boredom is the #1 trigger. Another thing I realize is that whenever I am reading, especially if I'm reading a textbook, I pull out my eyelashes a lot. Whenever I'm taking an exam, I pull out my eyelashes as well. And whenever I am like struggling to go to sleep, I also pull out my eyelashes. So for me, overcoming trichotillomania is all about keeping my hands busy so that I can allow my lashes to grow to their full potential and to just really get away from the habit. Now, one thing that I have neglected to really say during this video is that in my own personal struggle, I admitted that I had very low self-esteem as a child, and it's clear that whenever somebody has any type of compulsive disorder, finding the root of that issue is the most important thing in overcoming that disorder. And for me, I feel like I have overcome the mental part of having low self-esteem. I feel so much better about myself now, and so much more confident, so much more capable. And even though there are days when I feel down on myself, or days when I don't feel beautiful, I am always consistently working upon building my self-confidence. And I think that overcoming trichotillomania will be just one more accomplishment to add to my list, to say that there's nothing that can stop you and that you are very capable. So I think that I have been dealing with, and I am dealing with, the root of the issue, and now I am in a place where I can really push myself to actually overcome this disorder. Now, lastly, and the most important thing about this video are the things that I plan on doing to overcome trich. Now, the idea is that idle hands are, you know, tricks playground. And the idea is that if I keep my hands busy, then I can allow my eyelashes to grow in full and beautiful. So the first thing that I have done to kind of stop myself from pulling out my eyelashes are getting fake nails. Now, they are not very long this time around. They have been longer in the past. The idea behind getting false nails to stop pulling out my lashes is that while it doesn't prevent me 100% from trying to take out my eyelashes, it's that it adds just that much more difficulty to grabbing my lashes, which provides me that much more time to realize that I'm doing this out of habit and that I need to stop. And it really has been working for me. I think having the shorter nails, even more so than the longer nails, have really helped me to stop from pulling out my eyelashes and really think about what I'm doing before all of my eyelashes are gone. Because there are times when I have no eyelashes at all, and as soon as the new ones grow in, I pluck those right out. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing pretty good right now. Another thing that I plan on doing to stop myself from pulling out my eyelashes is to begin to wear eye makeup and false lashes. Now, the first question you might be asking is, how are you going to apply false lashes when you don't really have any eyelashes of your own? The thing about not having eyelashes is that people who have trichotillomania are not the only people whose lashes are gone. There are people who struggle with alopecia who lose their hair, and there are also cancer patients who lose their hair due to chemo and radiation. So there's actually a cancer patient who posted a video of a tutorial of how to do your false lashes when you don't have any lashes of your own. So I'm gonna link that down below, and that's essentially what I'm going to be doing until my eyelashes are strong enough to actually hold false lashes. Now, the eye makeup and eyeshadow portion is just going to get me to stop from putting my hands to my face. Like, I don't wear makeup, so I can freely touch my face all day. It's very rare that I wear makeup, but I've decided recently to kind of start investing in makeup because it's kind of the grown-up thing to do. And also, I just really like the way people's beauty is enhanced by makeup. So I kind of want to be able to master some looks for school, work, church, and special occasions. And I've actually invested quite a bit of money in BH Cosmetics and some drugstore products. So as soon as all of my BH Cosmetics come in, I'm going to do a BH Cosmetics / drugstore haul video. So be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna post a link up here and also down in the description box whenever I publish that video. Now, the eye makeup is also to stop me from touching my face, because I know if I have makeup on and I touch my face, I'll get makeup on my hand and I'll smudge my makeup. So it's just kind of I guess a negative reinforcement. Knowing that I have makeup on and that I don't want to mess up the makeup, I'll keep my hands away from my face. Now, one of the more important things that I plan on doing to stop myself from pulling out my eyelashes are keeping my fingers occupied. And the first thing I plan on doing is using a stress ball to give my hand something to do, and it can also relieve tension or the anxiety that comes before I'm about to pull out my eyelashes. So I'll probably make one. I think I can make one because there's a lot of DIY stress ball videos and tutorials on YouTube. So I may film one myself. So the next thing I'm going to do to stop myself from pulling out my eyelashes is take a scrunchie or a rubber band and put it on my wrist. So whenever I feel the urge to pull out my eyelashes, I just pop it back on my wrist a little bit to experience a little bit of pain and negatively associate that pain with pulling out my eyelashes. Another thing that I plan on doing is crocheting. And my great aunt, who passed away probably 2 or 3 years ago now, taught me how to crochet. And while I only know one pattern to crochet, it's something that I can do with both of my hands that is not only occupying my idle hands, but it's also very useful for making scarves and blankets and all that kind of stuff. So using my hands to be creative is something that I'm actually kind of looking forward to. Now, one of the cooler things that I found online is something called a fiddler ring. It's also called a spinner ring, and I'll show you a picture of one that I just purchased from Etsy for $10. The shipping was only $3, so I paid $13 for this fiddler ring, and hopefully it's worth it. So what the fiddler ring is, if you can see the photo, is a ring that you put on your finger, and on the outside of the ring, there's another portion of the ring that spins around. So whenever you feel the urge to fiddle or bite your nails or pluck out your eyelashes, you spin the ring instead of doing that compulsive behavior. I will place a link to the fiddler ring that I purchased with the Lord's Prayer on it down in the description box. Now, the very last thing that I plan on doing to stop myself from pulling out my eyelashes is placing an inspirational photo up on my bathroom mirror or on my vanity mirror to kind of show me what I look like with lashes. Now, you guys saw the comparison picture before, so I'll probably use that picture, but I just love the way my face looks rounded out with my eyelashes, and I'll just post that picture up on my vanity just to kind of be an inspiration to show what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go with it. And I'm really hoping that you guys will hold me accountable. If you see me on my videos and I'm looking extra washed out, or if you see me on my videos and I'm looking extra lashy, I would love the vote of confidence letting me know that I'm doing a great job. Or if you're struggling with trichotillomania and you don't know where to start, there are online communities that have tips and tricks on what to do. I actually found a Tumblr of a young lady who struggled with trichotillomania, and she gave me the idea about the fiddler ring. So there are things that you can look up on the web that can help you and that are resources for you. I'll place some links down in the description bar below so that you guys can really get an idea of some of the places online that have communities that can really help you out. And if you are a survivor of trichotillomania, I would love for you to put some tips down below. Tell us a little bit about your journey and how you have overcome trichotillomania yourself. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you have watched it all the way through, it's something that's very important to me because I'm ready to be done with this. And like I said, while it's not controlling my life, it has been a part of my life way too long, and I'm just ready to overcome it and move on. So thanks again to you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and you guys have an excellent day. Peace out, home slices.